Oh, hello there. I didn't see you there. My name is Captain Shaq, and welcome to the planet of Agorist. Today, we're going to be looking at some of the mods that I'm using for the Sunday series. And that bush is literally blocking the frame. You can't even see the Atlas, the freighter. All right, let's go look at some mods that I recommend that we're using right now. I'm gonna block the bush. That I'm using right now for space engineers. Some of these, I guess the theme is like tools. Yeah, that's the theme. They mostly fit in the category of tools. Stuff that'll make your jobs maybe not so much easier, but give more or different mechanics and kind of just expand the ways that you can play space engineers. So, particularly, blah, 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 blah. Okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah, tools. We're working with tools for space engineers. That's what the video is. Come on, we're looking at mods. Ah! Now, just a heads up, the base is kind of in the works right now. We most recently landed on that's a buggy. We most recently landed on Agorist here using the Atlas heavy freighter moving ammunition and supplies to the colony that's under threat. I'm gonna do a video of that mod at a later date, but today we're gonna look at the tools. So let me head on inside. I apologize for the base. It is literally in the middle of being constructed. First tool that we're gonna look at today is not sitting on the table like it's supposed to be because it's already in my inventory. We switch to it. There it is. Binoculars. That's right. Excuse me. John, get out of the way. Let's go up someplace where we can actually see something. The binocular mod actually uses two mods. If you really want to use the binocular mod, you're going to need the scope framework mod. All the links, by the way, will be in the description. Let's head on up here. But it does exactly what you think binoculars would do. If I right click, I can see things. And then if I hold down shift and scroll, I can see things even farther away. Now I've used this to watch battles in orbit of a planet. If you're the host, because the host can see much farther, especially weapon effects. I use this to zoom in and spy out my friends in multiplayer matches.
Green.
What?
Ah, what's going on?
What? Are you making shit up?
Terrifying.
I can see. Wow, where'd he go? I like these. These are the creeper goggles. I love these things. I can creep on people now. Wow. Yeah, it's a really cool mod. And it actually has like a nice little model. If I turn off the UI, you can actually see it. And you can throw it on the ground and look at it, which I will do so now. You make these just like any tool. You can make it out of the assembler, and then once you get it equipped, you go under your character tools, character tools, there they are, character tools, binos. And yeah, the scope framework, if you don't have it, it's gonna be really choppy when you're zoomed in and looking. But if you have scoped framework, it's actually quite smooth. You can look around, pan around, no problem. Yeah. That's a cool mod. All right, let's go look at the cargo fill mod, and then we're gonna look at the rest of the tools over there. Ow, come on. Damn, nothing happened, John. I don't want to talk about it. All right, over to the rover. This is right here. This is the track mod. I love this mod. It's not actually a tool. It is just a visual mod. You attach it to stuff and you can look like you've got tracks. They don't actually do anything. I just think they look cool. I'll put a link in the description for that too. That's a bonus mod for you. Look at that. The value of this video just keeps going up and up. All right, so what we're looking at? Well, we're looking at a cargo bay that is currently empty. That is an LCD mod. That's not normally in the game, which is kind of silly to think about out of all of the different screens that you can have. And if you didn't know, you can change the screens on your cockpits. If I scroll down to, I'm under the control seat that I'm sitting in currently. If I scroll down and I choose what I want to change, and I only have one screen on this, so I don't have to choose which screen I'm changing, I can swap this out to all the normal stuff, you know, digital clock or my faction icon currently, which I think looks like the Jedi symbol. Or now that I have this mod installed, I get detailed information on the cargo level of the ship, which is quite cool. So we'll go to the bar, or the level detail. Let's go to the level bar. I like the level bar. And then we'll activate my drill, and I'm gonna do something that I would never do if I wasn't going to keep the save. We're gonna start drilling the ground, and wait for it. Hey, we have a bar. That bar will go across as the total level of cargo on our grid continues to fill up. Let's see if we can get one more bar. Let's get one more doot. As I just destroy the voxels outside here. Oh no! I had my connector, oh no. Yeah, I had my connector set to throw out. But yeah, That's what that mod does. And you can switch it out if you really want the detailed views. You can switch it over to, if I scroll down here and switch over to display current percentage, 1.9%. I am using the Federal Industries cargo mod because I think these cargo containers look really, really cool. And by the way, if I just jump up here, this mod, the cargo, it only holds ore. It's an only ore holder. So it can hold a little bit more ore than, say, a standard cargo container could hold general cargo. And I just think they look cool because they're nice and flat. There's the big version back there, by the way. That is also just the ore version. Another bonus mod for you. I wasn't planning on putting in this, but there you go. All right, we looked at one mod. So, no, 2 mods. 2 mods so far. Let's run over to the rest of the table and see all the cool, fun toys we've got. Next up on the list is... why don't we look at the concrete mod? Yeah, that's the concrete spewing tool right there. I will put the official name in a lower third so you guys can actually know what it's called and find it. Also, links in the description. Oh, this is the display cases mod. Another bonus mod. It is a display case. It displays stuff. There's the binoculars. Because I thought it would be cool to show you guys the binoculars in that. Anyhoozle, let's grab the tool off the table. The concrete mixer requires, well, ammunition. Because this is what it does. It lets you place voxels without having the admin tools turned on. And it's a very particular kind of voxel. It's the concrete voxel. So let's run over. I'll switch over to a different tool so we don't have that green box. I already prepped this, because I'm the best YouTuber ever, with the concrete mix. All right, most professional YouTubers, really, that's my official title. Get out of the way, John! Gah! All right. So, if I switch back over to the concrete mixer that we picked up earlier, we have a list of all of the things that this thing can do on the right-hand side, which is really nice. If you don't see that, hit tab a few times till it pops up. What it can do, well, if you hold shift and you scroll your mouse wheel, you can make your big green box bigger, and then if you click, left click, boom, concrete. That's what it does. That's one of the things that it does. Just like a normal block, you can rotate the block a bit, and say you want to like maybe shave a little voxels off the top of whatever you're working on. This can be any voxels, by the way. It can work kind of like a drill, where you can remove stuff, except for you get to do this with a box instead. So if I go ahead and hold down control, I think it's what, control and then left mouse, yeah, list right there. Hold it down, boom, we just removed some voxels. Do it again, boom, and then maybe if we like, go here and push this down here, put this down here. You can actually start leveling this off. The more you put down, I'm actually using up, by the way, the concrete mix if you're adding. If you're removing, it doesn't use up anything. Maybe suit power, probably uses suit power. But there, once again, put some there. Nice. But one of the things that I like to do with this, if you've ever had frustrating issues, like if we run over to the Atlas here, and you notice that I've got some intrusion of grass into the Atlas, I could make a landing platform with this tool by just changing the voxels underneath this, or wherever I want to land, into concrete. It's gonna use a little bit of concrete when you do it, but all you've gotta do is look where you want it to go. I did this actually for my ramps over there. Look where you want it to go, and then hit, what's the button for it? Because I already don't remember. Replace with concrete, middle mouse button. Boom, boom, boom. Notice the grass is going away. Yay. Now I could, fix this so there wouldn't be any grass underneath the ride. I'd have to lift up first though, and we don't have a lot of fuel. But yeah, you can get rid of grass that way. Or if you want to, you can make, this is something that I want to do to lead down to the roads, because this is Agorist with roads. I can just do this. I can make pathways. We can make gravel roads to and from stuff without having to pull out the voxel tools, right? The only thing that I've really used this for in this save, officially, is right here along the edge, because I don't like the grass sticking through the plates. It bugs me. It really bugs me. But yeah, this is another decorative tool, and it does have some functions. Another way that we were using this, I run down here, when I was digging out this tunnel for a lot of our supplies, I don't want these to be above ground because that's going to be where they're risky. I was just kind of flattening out the walls a little bit, and notice that's not too shabby. It is the voxel system in Space Engineers. It does get a little all over the place, but if you work on it for a bit, you can get something kind of flat. Yeah, so there you go. The concrete tool, highly recommended. Next up on the list is, I actually have a list here somewhere. Hang on 2 seconds. All right, next mod we're gonna talk about is the Tether mod. Now this one I've had in, I think, all of my series for like the last year and a half. The Tether mod is a power transfer mod. So this grid right here, this solar generator is not actually attached to this grid in any normal Space Engineer way, right? There is no blocks underground hidden beyond view. It is just a set of concrete. By the way, this is a different kind of concrete. We'll get to that later. But it's just a set of concrete that is aligned with the grid, but not attached to it. But I wanted to transfer power. And I may want to, put a few of these kind of spread around without building blocks in between them. So how do I do that? Well, if this was the real world, I'd run an extension cord or a large gauge cable to and from wherever I wanted it. But you can't do that in Space Engineers, to my frustration. But now you can. That's the Tether mod. This right here is a power pole. Power transfer pole is what I think it's called. Let's pull out a welder. Yep, the transfer pylon. All you gotta do is walk up to this once you've got it built, and I will show you the resources required. They are really, really cheap. You walk up to it with your hands free. You right click to get rid of any connections you've already got. Left click it, and you'll get a cable. Run the cable over to whatever you wanna hook it up to. I'm just gonna hook it up to this computer here. I did have it attached up at the top before, but we'll just do it from here. And now, if I access this computer terminal, I will have access to everything on the grid remotely, as if this is sharing not only energy from the solar panels to the base of operations over there, but it's also sharing a data connection. Now, you can't transfer objects this way, so it doesn't work like a connector in that way, but in all other ways it does. We have full remote access to the base from that computer. And you can imagine all the cool ways that you can use this. Like, for instance, charging rovers. If I run over here, you'll see a real world use of it. I jump down, there's the cable right there. This is another version of it, the charging station that you can build. That's tied directly to this grid. There is a piece of concrete tying it to the base. This grid has its own power supply. It is charging this rover up for my mining operations or hot mess. Oh, hey, by the way, speaking of the concrete mod, anytime you've ever freaking done some voxel damage on accident, well, there's a drill in the way right now that's telling me I can't do that. Can't do that, it's something in the way. But if I were to move that drill, I could fill in these voxels. So if you've ever felt my pain of, damaging that bit right outside your base, now you have a way of fixing it without admin tooling it. I really dig that. Very, very cool. All right, so that's how that works. There is another block. Super secret block. Let me show you guys how this works. This isn't it. This is a different block. But this is another one of the Tether mods blocks that you can use, the power socket. Now, I originally thought that this would let you connect 4 different objects to the power socket, but no, it just works like the other ones. If I grab by left clicking this and attach it to a grid, that's a cargo container, a light, and a normal block. I attach it to that. Hey, that light turns on because it now has power coming off the grid, even though, as I push this around, that is just a separate block, a separate grid. Also notice, I've picked this grid up with my hands. Well, this is a different mod, other bonus mod for you. This is the grid pickup mod. I'll put that in the description. This does have limitations. You can only pick up grids that are of a certain weight. If it's too heavy, you won't be able to pick it up. But if it's light enough, you can just pick it up and move it around and toss it into a hole for no reason. Bye. This doesn't have any collision, by the way, so you don't have to worry about running into it. Right click to remove the connection. There you go. That's what that one does. Now, here's the super secret one. This is one that if you don't know what it's called, you'll never be able to find it because it's not in the G menu. And I'm going to show you the real world application for it. Let's run upstairs to where the ammunition and the cargo is located inside the Atlas with my silly, really basic elevator that exists for some reason. Boom, I could have just put a ladder there, but why not? Welcome aboard the Atlas. Lots of ammunition stored in here, all the AIM-9s, the missiles and stuff, as part of the challenge for this survival series. But we've also installed some fun stuff up here. If I can get close enough, I'll just turn on the old jetpack. This is the conveyor hose attachment. This is not in the G menu, but it does the exact same thing as all the other Tether mod blocks that I've showed you thus far, but it's very small and it works on small grid. If you type in the word hose into the G menu, you will be able to find it, but it will not come up on the G menu by itself. It's strange, I don't know why. The reason that I have these in here is so that I can literally just grab this and attach it so that I can keep these cargo containers charged up. They've got a battery in there, they've got mag locks and stuff, and a gravity generator to make sure they don't go flying off, but yep, there you go. All right, let's head on out of here. This is a different mod for a different time. This is Consty's weapon mod, aviation weapon mod, for the rockets and the AIM-9s. Very cool mod. But we're not talking about that. Another sort of bonus mod, but I want to actually spot that one. Later date, once it gets finished and the tracking for the missiles is publicly released. He's still waiting for the green light from the person who made the tracking for the aims. But all right, the next one I want to talk about, really important, it's advanced welding. I've shown this many times on a various series that we've done here on the XP Gamers, and this little block right here, not the block, but the thing on top of the block, the weld pad, is part of this mod. The weld pad, and I'll pull one out, is such a cool one. That is basically a merge block. Pull up weld pad, pull this up. There's small grid and large grid versions of it. It is a merge block, but the way that it works is a little different. You put two of these, one on each block that you want to merge together, right? Two different grids. And then when they come together, it actually destroys the weld pad and instantly welds those two grids to make them one grid. I can show you a pretty simple example of this using, let's just stick it on top of this small grid. We're gonna go onto the roof here. We're gonna grab some simple light armor, safety first, put some light armor over here. You know what, let's center these so I don't drive people absolutely bonkers. Make sure they're lined up. Yeah, looks good, looks good. We'll grab some, let's use some pistons. And we will merge these guys together and see if we can make something explode. All right. Now, I'm sure already people who've used a lot of merge block stuff are like, wait, this does what? That's really cool. Well, now you'll be able to see it in action. Go ahead and reverse this. And boom, they're welded together. These two are now actually attached to each other as if they had been merge blocked together. It's a very cool mod. If you're doing a lot of salvage gameplay, it's a great way to like pull stuff off of vehicles and merge it onto other vehicles. But how do you pull stuff off of vehicles without just grinding it down? Well, that's the other thing that this mod does. If I jump down here, what can I use as an example that would work really well? Let's use this right here. Let's use this sci-fi button panel. This is a vanilla panel. If I hold down control, this is the other part of the advanced welding. If I hold down control and I start grinding a block, you'll notice, I'm gonna restart it so you can see it again. You'll notice detach mode activated and it gives you a %. Now if I let this finish, that is now detached from the grid. And I can grab it with like a landing gear on a vehicle, like a forklift vehicle, and fly it off somewhere. Or maybe I just want to cut something off and I'll come back for it later, or I need to make a vehicle lighter. Another big reason you'd want to use this is, say you found an enemy ship you've disabled, and you really need large grid batteries, because you know if you grind them down, you're going to lose those power cells. Those get deleted when you grind stuff down. Well, now you can walk up to it and just grind that sucker off without destroying it, and then pick it up with your ship and take it back home. When you get it back home, bust out those, and these do work in survival. I just have admin mode turned on so we don't have to weld this stuff up. You could totally just slap one of these suckers down, slap one on your base, pick it up, drop it down, line it up, and it will connect instantly to be part of your grid with whatever level of charge it had. I always put this mod in. This is one of those tools that just works great. It doesn't replace merge blocks because this is a permanent connection and merge blocks can be detached, but it's a nice feature to have. So that is advanced welding. Link description below. All right, let's talk about AiEnabled's concrete. We've been walking around on it. We've got this kind of concrete, which we've already played around with. It came from the concrete tool. This is a voxel concrete. But this, what we're walking on right now, these are actually blocked concretes that are using Keen's texture, concrete texture. And that is this mod right here, made by AiEnabled concrete. All of these blocks are concrete. They are built using a concrete subcomponent, and that subcomponent is made out of just gravel. Suddenly, gravel has a use other than just reactors. You don't have to just go pooping it out and getting rid of it because it's taking up all of your cargo space anymore. You can actually use it for something like building foundations, but it has some limitations that mean that it doesn't replace light grid armor blocks for your main building applications. And why wouldn't you use this? If it's gravel, that means it's really easy to get, right? You can just dig into the ground, you get gravel, you refine those rocks into gravel, and now you can build everything out of that. Well, the problem is concrete is stupidly heavy. It is so heavy, in fact, that I will show you how heavy this is. We're gonna grab 1,000 concrete out of here. Look at me being all prepared. Freaking just so prepared. The best, most professional YouTuber. All right, we're gonna grab a box. This is a box. We're gonna put a box down. Whoa! Okay. Why is it? Oh, because there's wind. And it's considered a light armor block. Right. All right. Let's maybe use a different box. Maybe one that's not so grabby by the wind. Let's see what happens if I put this one down. You gonna go flying? Yeah, a little bit. Wind's a little heavy right now. What is it? It's 0.2 meters a second. But anywho, ignore the fact that that's moving. That's the aviation mod. I'm pretty sure pushing this around. If I put concrete in here, it weighs so much, I may regret this, that nothing happens and I become a liar. Hang on. There it is. Yep. It weighs so much that it will destroy wheels, because that was 1,000 concrete. That was a lot of, it even damaged this. Holy crap. Now, last time I did that, the second I put it in there, and the box just kind of fell over slowly to its side, the box broke, but everything else was fine. I find it funny that it broke like all of this. That's kind of hilarious. Okay, sure, why not? Anyways, it's really heavy, and if you put it in a vehicle, you're gonna find you quickly will overload the vehicle suspension. I tripped over a couple of batteries that I was using as an example. Let's get rid of those. If I put this concrete in here, you'll instantly notice nothing because it didn't fit. There, yeah, see? So you're not gonna be building vehicles out of concrete. It's gonna really mess with you. No, that's gonna clang out. It's super heavy. Yes, I'm carrying it around in my backpack because you need some way of actually using it. So you're gonna have to manually put this stuff in. So there's one of the big limitations. Your grinding ship isn't really gonna work, but it gives you something to do with gravel, right? And the things that you can do with it that I really like, it gives you, well, now you can make a landing pad that's nice and flat out of all that gravel that you've got. Right? So that's what I'm doing here. I'm actually filling this in slowly. This is going to be what the Atlas sits on. It's resistant. It's got good health. It comes in 2 different varieties. It comes in a light armor version, which just uses concrete. And if you want to get that reinforced concrete, actually, how you would normally build with concrete, which would be putting rebar in it, you can totally do that. Let's grab a copy of this. And this is the reinforced. That's going to use metal grids. So a little bit higher in your tech tree. And it even has the different textures. It shows the rebar inside it on some of them. That's not gonna be on every block, obviously. As you can see, if I put a few of these down. And how cool is that? I actually really like that texture. It gives you the idea that, oh yeah, that's concrete, but that's the heavy stuff. It's resistant to damage. You can make earthworks now using the 2 mods that I've shown here. I love this mod. I'm gonna keep this one on here. Hopefully AiEnabled decides to. Maybe adds the slopes, you know, the 2-block slopes for this. I don't know if he'll ever do it, but hopefully he does, because the blocks are basically your super basic blocks. So you've got normal block, you've got that corner, you know, bit here, you've got the half block, you've got the ramp, like edge block, corner block, and then your standard slope block. There you are. So I still use normal light armor for my ramps, like those over there, so I can have the 2-block ramp so that the drop isn't too hard for vehicles to go up and down. But still, that stays in my load order. That's probably never gonna come out. It's just so nice to have something that I can use that gravel for. All right, on to more mods, bigger and better things. Now that we've looked at the AQD concrete mod, we're gonna look at the SmartRotor. Now, I'm well aware that there are scripts for this. I've used them in the past, but I love having a purpose-built mod for this job. That right there at the very top, if we switch over to our, wait, where are my binoculars? Did I not grab the binos? Did I blow up the binos? Oh, I left them on the roof. What? Get out of here, stone.
Inventory full.
Most professional. Let's drop this off here. Let's grab you. Thank you. All right, so if we look at that, there we go. Now we're using mods. That is the solar rotor. I think this is so awesome. It automatically tracks the sun for you, and it comes with, if you look in between the solar panels, those are just vanilla solar panels. In between the solar panels, there is a bar that goes in there that hooks and matches up with the rotor that perfectly like mounts the solar panels. And we slide the day along, make it a couple hours later. There it goes. It suddenly has to find the new position of the sun. And it's aligning, it's figuring itself out, getting it just right. And it is super easy to use. You just slap the sucker down, immediately gets that going. You can see the resource requirements on the bottom right-hand side. Nothing too crazy. You can get it fairly early in your career on your new base, because all it takes is, I mean, the most advanced thing on there is what? Nickel for the motors? Yeah, maybe silicon, everything that you can get out of a gravel pit when you're first getting started. And you don't have to mess around with scripts if you don't want to, or if scripts are disabled for whatever reason. If you can get your admin to add this, there you are. And it'll auto-track it. And then that little dot points directly towards the sun, so you know where that's gonna have to be. Easy peasy, cool mod. All right, moving on. AI-enabled. You guys have seen John running around here. John cost me 50,000 credits to build. Yeah, they're expensive, but he's the combat variant. Let's see, he gets back up here. Jeff is around here somewhere. You know what? I actually haven't seen Jeff all day. I don't know where Jeff is, but these are AI. That's not another player running around. That is an AI from AiEnabled. He is here to defend the base. I've got him on a patrol path right now, just kind of wandering around inside to give this a test. He will fight my enemies. He will guard my base, and he'll look pretty cool doing it. You can see how he roams in between the points. I give him a point there, way over there, and then one here, and then all the way down the bottom of the base, just to see how well he could pathfind around. And he's doing great. He even uses the stairs. So I could totally see me getting a few of these guys together and have them on a patrol around the base, around like fighting positions that I've built. Oh, that's another mod we got to talk about. We'll talk about that one later. The small grid one. We can totally build like fighting positions and have them roam around there. He's got an assault rifle on him. You can name him. That's why he's called J117, aka John. I'm sure someone will get the reference there. Let me know in the comments if you do. But here's how it works. If you have AiEnabled installed, you'll be able to build one of these things. It's called the robot something something. I always just look up the word robot. The Robo Factory. Going up, once you built it, going up to the control panel, as long as it's got power, you'll be able to look at the different types of droids you can get. Repair, little floaty bot that repairs stuff for you. He'll actually build parts of your base. You put the block down, the frame of it, and then he'll eventually come over and he'll weld it up. If you put the resources into it, he'll rush over and weld it up, because they love it when you do that. You've got your scavenger, which I've never built, so we're gonna build this one for the first time on here. We'll call him Mal. There's a sci-fi reference. And you can actually change the model if you want it to be just an astronaut, a target drone, or a drone bot. I will just do default scavenger, and he's 5,000 credits, which I don't have on me. It won't let me build it, and that's the resource that's required. It's not parts, it's money. I like this because it gives a reason for you to have, want to have some cash on you. Another goal to work towards, especially when the combat version is 50 grand, whereas the building version is only 10. I love that it's only 10 because on most maps, you start with 10,000 space credits. Meaning you can get a helper right away. It's kind of like a replacement for Bob if you like to use Bob a lot. And they're a little goofy, they get stuck sometimes, but it gives you somebody to yell at while you're playing, and I love it. Jeff, speaking of which, Jeff, where the hell are you, my man? The repair bot can actually fly and does all of its stuff flying. Let's go ahead and drop down to helper. Ah! Where is he? Oh no, I think he might have been killed. Well, you win some, you lose some. Let's go find some credits. Oh look, there's credits in this box that someone damaged. Let's not talk about it. Let's grab 48,000 credits and let's build ourselves a helper bot. All right, repair bot, model, default. We're gonna name him Mal, build. This is probably the one you see the most often. And there he is with a custom model and everything. He makes a little beeping noise like he's some kind of astromech from Star Wars. You can put him on patrol paths as well. You can have him just roam around the base. He'll pull stuff out of cargo containers. They seem to have an issue with trying to pull out of assemblers, which is something I'm still kind of working around and figuring out what's up. Yeah, I know, I broke that. And check out the menu for him. Where'd he go? Jeff 2.0. I go to inventory, Jeff. He just pulled resources and now he's beginning to make repairs. Let's go ahead and follow me. Where'd he go? There you are. Follow me. All right, Mal. That's what I named him. I named him Mal. I can tell him to stay. I can order him to stay right where he is. I can tell him to go to, and then I can point at where he goes. This is the same way the patrol system works. You make points using this system. So, hey, Go sit behind that box over there. He's actually repairing the damage from earlier. That's cool. The other thing you can do, go into their inventory. He's got a custom inventory. You can move stuff inside. I can give him 1K concrete. How do you handle the weight of 1K concrete? You're fine. Did he just pick up scrap metal? He did. So he was just given a bunch of concrete, and now he'll be able to, he'll be able to actually repair all this stuff. And he welds really quickly. Well, faster than you can, unless I think you have the maxed out welder. It's nice having a little bit of help. And if we follow him around a little bit, he'll probably go find a job to do. He seems to love to work on stuff that's really far away. Yeah, there he goes. Awesome. Very, very cool. So AI-enabled mod, if you're looking for a few helpers. Now, be in mind, if you're working with stuff like a small grid gone large, like the Atlas over there, they can't pathfind around that stuff. That gets a little weird. But large grids, they seem to be pretty good with, and more recently, there's been an update, so they're kind of aware of voxels around asteroids, so they should function around voxel asteroids. I have not tested that. We actually ended up leaving that asteroid before that patch came out, so is what it is. But yep, there he goes. He's still using all 1,000 of that to get all this done. Nice. Very freaking cool. All right, so that's AI enabled. Oh, there's one more bot actually that I have still yet to see. So let's go explore together. God, I love these mods. Space Engineers has been just a decade almost of mods. Default model scavenger. Now this one, the description is written as the scavenger bot will follow you around and periodically may find items of interest in the environment. These items may include components, ammunition, or space credits. We will call you Findy. Bill. You already have 2 helpers. Oh no, sorry John, you weren't long for this world. Recycle. John is gone. Scavenger, build Findy. Findy's a dog! What? How much is this? I have to have this in my actual, 5,000 credits? That's amazing. I wonder if he's got sound effects like the other one does. Like Jeff does. Go over there. Ah, that's so cool. So much better than a Cyberhound. All right. Anyways, that's the AI-enabled mod. Now, moving on to the final mod. This is something that is a little silly that we've got to go over this, right? But it's a mod that replaces something that was removed from Space Engineers. Let's jump on over to the rover, over to the buggy, the unfinished buggy. Everything on this base is like half finished. Oh, we're not gonna go this way. We gotta go over to the mine to show you a in-action version of this. But this used to be something that you could just do in Space Engineers. And for whatever reason, it was removed. Yeah, there's the mine. Right there. Cruise down here. I am gonna do a spotlight of this planet, so don't you guys worry. That's coming out soon. We're gonna talk about it. So welcome to the ye old iron mine. I'm actually gonna drive down here. What we've been digging out using that rover that's in the back of the base. Notice that there are some lights down here. Now, what's probably weird about this is that they're stuck in the voxels. Now, you used to be able to do this with small grids. You used to be able to just stick them in there just like you do large grids, and they become static objects, basically considered stations, I say in quotations. But they're static grids because they're in a voxel. They get set that way. Well, you can't do this anymore in Space Engineers, and I'm a little saddened by that because I always like to do stuff like this. I like to make tunnels and put in lights, or maybe I want to make sandbags for my fighting robots, and I want to bury the blocks into the ground to make them look cool, make sure they don't fly off. But you can't do it anymore. Well, there's a mod for that. Of course there is. So, yep, that's the mod. It is the Static Small Grids mod. I will put that in the description as well. So you can do cool stuff like this, or what I think I'm probably gonna do is make like patrol fighting positions if we run up here. It's starting to rain. We could totally do something like bop, 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 bop. There we go. Small grid. Actually, if you use blast door blocks, it works pretty well. You can get a very And we go for a different, more like a yellowy color to it. You can actually get a fairly kind of looks like sandbags vibe going on here. When you do stuff like this and you stack them together, and you can imagine how that would make like a kind of a neat fighting position. Maybe even put an auto turret underneath, like a vanilla turret. Yeah, and you just kind of stack them like that, back and forth. And yeah, there you go. You get a cool vibe to it. And if you do something like this, all kinds of fun stuff that you can do with it. But all right, well, I'm gonna mess with that later. I have a couple of ideas on how I can make some like cool stacked sandbags. Maybe put a turret behind it that's auto tracking that looks like it's some kind of like machine gun position. Something really, really low cost. But you can't do that very well without magnetic landing gear, you know, to lock it onto the ground. But you got this mod, you totally can. And I don't see how this would break the game in any way or change the balance of the game in any way. So I'm happy to have that feature or that function back. Well, it's starting to rain here on Agarest back at the HQ, so I'm gonna call this transmission an end. If you enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments. If you've got a favorite mod that's a must-have that isn't the build and repair system, I know that's gonna be a comment that drops in. Anything other than that, let me know in the comments if you think I don't know about it. I'd love to hear what mods you guys are using. The mod list grows ever. I was gonna do every mod in the current Sunday series, and that ended up being 69 mods, not counting the mod collection mods. That's a bit much for one video, so we're gonna have to spread them out. All right, everybody, I will see you all out in space. I guess it's not only the weather for sunglasses, but whatever. Keeps the rain out of my eyes. Bye, guys.